controversy about he was. Let me invite a very special guest to say something here. Let's see. Let me get my keyboard over here. Let's see, because I have some special guests that they want to chime in from time to time. So let me get this. And as you know, I am the only blind TV host in the world, or maybe on this Periscope. Should I brag and say in the world? And what's that saying? You know. Anyway. Okay, I'm gonna get a introduction here.
Hi everybody, this is the Godfather Soul James Brown. I tell you, this business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather Soul James Brown saying stay with it and hit it. Well, okay, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, James Brown. Yeah, I met him some time ago, speaking of Black history. A guy who, hey, Ghost Whisperer. Peter, if you do join, let me know if the camera's facing the right way. My wife was very worried that it would be, because I am a blind broadcaster knocking over stuff, that the video would be facing some other direction. Take the phone out the hook so there's no... Facing from chin down. Oh, okay. Facing from chin down. Okay, let's see. Is that better? Hopefully that is better. I should have just got like a little box to prop it up a little bit more, but I didn't do that. Okay, so hopefully that's better. Facing from chin down. Okay. Still chin and below. Chin and below. Still chin and below. Okay, let's see. Okay. You never know with these. Point up. Okay, point up. Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Oh. Okay, hold on for a second. Okay. And I guess that's a little bit better, hopefully a lot better. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. As I'm trying to get these legs stabled. Oh, if I can just get these legs stabled so it doesn't tip over. This camera is kind of heavy on the stand. Okay, so anyway, so I wanted to talk about. Oh, by the way, my name is Johnny J. I do a radio show on our website, which is just innervisionrecords.org. It's 24/7, and I slip in some shows, some fresh shows from time to time on our internet radio station. And just been a broadcaster here in Colorado for a long time, and found this great thing called Periscope. So it's just a lot cheaper than broadcasting on cable TV. So this is why I'm doing this. So anyway, I wanted to talk about cousins or family members or dad and moms kissing on the lips as far as like families. Now, you know, I consider like everybody has like different customs in their families. My family, for instance, we weren't very affectionate. Even if you gave my mother a hug, and she was the leader of this, if you gave my mother a hug, she would question your alcohol level. She would say something like you must be drunk, you know, to hug or show, you know, some kind of affection like that. And I just assumed just because she grew up in the South, and it was a very violent period in the South for African Americans and so forth. And so maybe it was her defense mechanism saying that, I've seen so many of my cousins or my brothers and sisters or relatives killed by the members of the KKK, that in order to get close to people in that kind of way, it was too hurtful because you never know if they're going to be killed. So she was very protective of us, but she didn't have that affectionate part of her, right? So that is the reason why I feel that she wasn't very affectionate. And right now, she's like 95 years old, right? I'm going to 96 this year. And so, but my dad, he was a little bit different. I mean, he probably experienced similar things, but he, I guess maybe guys are a little bit different. He went to the army, so he saw friends killed, next to him, or things of that sort. And he might have experienced some of the cousins or relatives being killed by the KKK or things of that sort, because that's just what was going on. I mean, he was born 1928. My mother was born 1922. So that was just the things that were going on in America at that time. But he was the kind of person, like he would nibble on my ear. He would do stuff like that. And for some reason, and I never knew, and he died before I got to find out, he considered me to be one of his favorite sons, which I'm not sure. Like, what did I do? It just.
What part of the South did they grow up in?
Oh, what part of the South? Let's see, Streamport, Louisiana, in the Amarillo, Texas part. And I remember going there as a child, and it was like it was like red dirt, and the town was about like 2,000 people. Well, I guess it's 2,000 people now. It's probably even smaller back when I used to visit back in the 70s, and and I really didn't like going down there because, like,
1969, it's their first day on Periscope.
Welcome to you, the first day in Periscope. I didn't like going down there because, like, in Denver, Colorado, I mean, we have our problems, but down in Texas in the 70s, in the 60s, family members would tell us, because my sister, she was driving at the time, her car, and we were like, I think I was like 14, and she was 16, so she had a permit to drive. They would say, like, if you see a Burger King or McDonald's and there's no black people in there, do not go into that restaurant. I said, that's pretty weird. I mean, I go to McDonald's here all the, in Colorado, Burger King, McDonald's, and no problem. But I guess in the South, I mean, it was like this dividing line. Oh, welcome to a new person there. So it was just kind of strange, and this is like I was going to get into the cousins and all that kind of stuff. There's a little bit of black history, like recent black history. Because I heard, like, on the Super Bowl yesterday, they had a commercial and they were using a speech by Martin Luther King. And he was saying that, being the best you can be. And I guess it was taken from a speech that he did. And I guess, people on Twitter were having a Twitter war about these things. But, I mean, I was there in the 60s. And so, oh, hello, the guy with the different languages. Yeah. So I'm an old geezer. So I was there during the time when Malcolm X was assassinated. Now I don't remember a lot about Malcolm X because he wasn't as prominent, and I used to like to watch news back then. Oh, wait, okay. I'm not lying. I'm not that old. I'm old, but I'm not that old. So I would watch TV a lot, and I was kind of a strange kid. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. So I was a 5-year-old who liked to watch news. And so I would watch the Vietnam War going on, and they would show nightly news of like the cameras of the guys having war out there. And I would watch a lot of the Martin Luther King protests. And then later on, I got to see like some of the Bull Connor. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Bull Connor, like when he turned the fire hose on the black children and he turned the dogs on them, and he was saying, he said, there'll be no segregation in my state. And so it was just kind of strange because I'm kind of thinking like, what's going to, and it was all in black and white, you know. So I'm watching these pictures, and at the time, I had 20/20 vision, so those pictures are ingrained in my brain. And so watching that history, and my mother also, because of her protectiveness, when they moved to Colorado, in the mid-50s. They always had a car because they didn't want us to experience sitting in the back of the bus or any of the other kind of like crazy things that were going on in America at that time. And we deal. Yeah, well, yeah, I know, especially if you were there. Yeah, so I didn't experience the riding in the back of the buses because my parents and my dad. It was kind of weird. It's like today this wouldn't have happened. My dad was able to buy a house, feed all of us, keep us clothed with one job. Right? So he was working for the Laurie Air Force here in Colorado. And today, unless you're making like, I don't know, $70,000 to maybe $150,000, you would live like we lived back then. I mean, because I don't remember ever starving. There was always food. There was never talk about, oh man, we can't pay the phone bill this month. We can't pay, stressing out over the mortgage. My dad would bring the check home, give it to my mother. She would write out the checks, and then she would give him a allowance. So my mother was very good at budgeting, like for this. So this was our African American family at that time. And what I understand was when President Johnson signed that. He put this law into about welfare and food stamps. The family composition for African Americans at that time was 75% was black fathers in the homes. Compared to now it's only 25%. And I direct that changeover with President Johnson signing in this food stamp and welfare law. And if you're not here from America, or if you're a younger person, what that says is if there's a man in the house, you cannot get food stamps. So if your man couldn't get a job at the time or because of whatever reason, because he didn't pay attention in school or because whatever reason, he couldn't get a job, or who knows, or he chose to be a drug dealer or whatever. He couldn't be in the house. Now he could be there after the social service people came to check the house, and he could be there before. But that house had to look like there was only a single mom living in that house. And of course, it was appended to the number of kids you had, the more money you received as well. So a lot of black families have to play this game, and Hispanic families and white families, all across the board. If you were in this welfare or food stamp, you have to play this game of, there's no man in the house. I have these 3 kids, but I don't know whether the husband is. I don't know where he is. And you have to tell this lie.